What's up guys, hope everyone is doing well. Now in this video I'm going to be running you through how to portion out your plate when weight loss is your goal, and I'm going to get straight into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the two different types of plate compositions that you're going to have. The first one's going to be your anytime meal, and the second one is going to be, is going to be your post-workout meal. Alright, I'm going to start off with the anytime meal and then transition to the post-workout meal after this. Now, the first thing is, what you will notice is that there is a big percentage of the plate that is going to be vegetables. The reason is that a lot of our vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are going to come from our vegetables. Now, vegetables come in all sorts of colors: red, yellow, green, orange, purple, and so all of these colors represent different vitamins and minerals. So if I was to give you an example, an orange, if I ask most people what vitamin is in orange, most people will say, hey, it's vitamin C. And so just like orange has vitamin C, all these other vegetables and fruits, the colors represent the different vitamins that are in those fruits. And so essentially what we are trying to do is we're trying to get all of these colors in our diet, ideally throughout the day. But if we cannot get it throughout the day, we want to spread it across the week. And the reason we want to do this is because over time, if we're neglecting certain vitamins and minerals and nutrients, it's going to lead to deficiencies long term. Now, it may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen next week, next month, next year, but over time, if we neglect certain vitamins and minerals, we're going to be depleted from them, and it's going to lead to deficiencies down the road, and we want to avoid these deficiencies. So, best bet with veggies is try to get all the colors across the week and do it every week. All right, so that's the most important thing with veggies. Now, what you'll notice on the anytime meal is that a majority of the plate is veggies. Now, the reason the majority of the plate is veggies is because veggies, even in really large volumes, have very little calories. So if you put 300 grams of broccoli on a plate, you would barely have any calories, but there would be a lot of volume, and it would fill your stomach up and push your stomach out a little bit and give you the sensation of fullness. And that's one of the things that we really want to accomplish when we are on a weight loss goal, is to make sure that we have this sense of fullness. Because if we don't, it's going to lead to snacking, and it's going to lead to hunger, it's going to lead to cravings, it's going to lead to all these things that are undesirable when you're trying to lose weight. Okay, so lots of veggies, lots of colors. So you could see on this plate is about 65% of the plate is veggies. Now, moving on to protein. Protein is going to be the most important thing. Now, the reason we want protein, and I'll tell you how much protein you want per meal, but the reason we want abundance of protein on our plate is because protein is the most satiating macro. Okay, so it keeps you fuller for longer, and it also takes a lot of energy to digest. So the more protein you have, the more energy your body has to expend to even digest the protein, right? And so that's going to increase your metabolism slightly, like 300 calories per day. So the more protein you eat, the more your body has to work to digest this protein, and in turn you burn more calories, right? That's a perfect situation when you want to lose weight. All right, the next thing is, protein is literally the building block of all muscle, of all tissue, on literally everything. It's the building block of everything. It's the raw material that your body needs to function optimally. Right, so protein. How much protein? Now, we're not going to be talking about measuring in this video. I'm going to give you some very easy strategies to reduce your calories just by adjusting your plate, and I'll get to that in a second. But the amount of protein you want to eat is very simple. It's going to be a palm size. That's one palm. The circumference and the thickness of your palm. Now, this correlates. If you're a bigger person, your palm is going to be bigger. If you're a smaller person, your palm is going to be smaller. So it's going to correlate with your size. And so the amount you eat will differ based on how big you are. Okay? Now, once you measure this, that's one palm. You want to be eating about 2 palms per meal, which is a lot of protein. And that's exactly what we want when we're trying to lose weight. We want an abundance of protein to feel satiated, to drive up caloric output, so we burn more calories when we eat more protein, because it takes more energy to digest this protein. And so essentially what you want to think about is 6 palms per day. Now, whether you eat 6 palms in one meal, if you eat it 3 and 3 for 2 meals, or if you eat 2 and 2 for 3 meals, it really doesn't matter as long as you're getting adequate protein. Now, I would not recommend going one meal 6 pounds of protein, because it's very hard to just stomach all of that food. And so what I would recommend, just to good old breakfast, lunch, dinner. 2 pounds in the morning, 2 pounds in the afternoon, 2 pounds in the evening. All right. And then your fats. Your fats are going to be your healthy oils, your nuts, your seeds, your avocados, and all of those things, right? Now, fats are a very important component, but they're also very dense in calories. And so we're going to keep fats pretty low when we're on a weight loss protocol. It's not something that we want to do long term, but while we're losing weight, we want to reduce the amount of fats. Now, your protein is going to have a little bit of fat. And if you cook your protein in oils, it's going to have that oil that you cooked it with, which is going to add to the fat content. And so maybe you can grill your protein and grill your veggies, and then you can have some room to eat your nuts and seeds or avocados or whatever it is, or pol sambal or coconut sambal for everyone that's in Sri Lanka on the plate, because the coconut is a huge part of our diet, right? And so really what you want to think about with your anytime meal is that the composition of the plate should be a majority of vegetables and protein and then a little bit of fats, right? And so we'll get into these habits. I hope that makes sense. We're going to move on to these habits that I wrote down here. Now for weight loss, a couple of things you want to really do. You want to eat slowly and you want to chew your food thoroughly, okay? Now you want to eat slowly mainly because you want to eat, swallow your food, take a second, so your body and your stomach can register the amount of food and you can build a little bit of awareness of your hunger, all right? And so take a few seconds after every bite just to breathe, maybe 10 seconds, and then take your next bite. And then chew your food thoroughly. You need to chew your food thoroughly because your stomach doesn't have teeth. And so you want to chew your food down to a mush, so it makes it easy for your stomach to absorb to digest and absorb and transport all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients into the cells and do what it needs to do, all right? If you don't, there's going to be a lot of stomach acids that have to do a lot of work, and then it causes bloating, it causes all these weird gastric issues and digestive issues and farting and all that stuff, right? And so chew your food, it'll help you and it'll help the people around you. And so, like I said, your stomach doesn't have any teeth. And then you also want to stop eating when you are at 80% full. Now this is something that's going to take a little bit of patience, right? A little bit of practice and a lot of intuition, and it's something that you want to build. It's a skill that you want to build and awareness you want to build over time. So you want to identify, hey, how do I feel after this meal? Do I feel full? Do I feel 120% full? Do I feel 80% full? And essentially what you want to do is you want to constantly eat till you're 80% full, because if you're eating till you're 80% full, you're most likely going to be at a caloric deficit, and since you're on a weight loss protocol, you're going to be able to much easily regulate the amount of calories you're going to eat. The next thing is you want to save your starchy carbohydrates for after your exercise. I'm not going to spend too much time on that here because on the next slide I'm going to be talking about that. Next thing, choose mostly whole foods with minimal processing. Now essentially the best way to think about this is eat foods that are closest to its original state, right? If the foods that you're eating have a huge ingredients list, it's probably not good for you. There's probably a lot of calories in there, and they're in there unnecessarily. So we're making a video that is going to give you an outline of how to make meals that are 8 ingredients or less. And the fewer the ingredients you are, the more whole, minimally processed your plate's going to look, all right? Now, the next thing, choose local or organic food when possible. Now, obviously, if you do have a local market that sells vegetables or meat or whatever, you could probably go to them and get it. Or if you have a garden and you have the resources and you have the ability and you have the skills and you have the understanding to grow your own food in your own garden, whether it's potatoes, tomatoes, it's probably best to do that and eat from the land that you're growing your food in. This will probably be the healthiest way to do it, because you know from growing it to your plate the entire process, and you know you're not going to put any pesticides and stuff like that on those foods. All right. Now here's the part that's going to make a big difference for a lot of people. Now let's say you honor and you adhere to these plate portions for 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you see that your weight's not moving down. What you need to focus on then is not changing the composition of your plate. So you don't change how much veggies you're eating, how much protein, how much fats you're eating by manipulating it. What you want to do is you just want to take a look at the plate that you currently serve it on, and instead of measuring, you can just reduce the size of the plate and serve the same proportions on that plate. What this will do is it'll take your caloric intake from whatever, like let's say it's 100%, it's going to take it down 10-20%. So you're going to be eating less as a result of you serving it on a smaller plate. So if you do all of these and you find that you're not losing weight, try to get a smaller plate and try to create a little bit more of a deficit purely based on the size of the plate. Now the next point on this list is you want to eat your largest meal of the day after exercise. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide as well. Now the reason is because you are most depleted post-training, right? You've used all this energy, you lost a lot of electrolytes, you've used all the glycogen and the carbohydrates that are in your body, and your body's starving for a lot of food, and so you want your biggest meal of the day after exercise. Not something that's necessary, but something that will be optimal, all right? And then eat more vegetables and fruit with that post-workout meal. So we're going to move to that post-workout meal, and I'm going to explain how you want to organize your post-workout meal. Now, the first thing you're going to notice in the post-workout meal is that there are no fats. So if we go back, there are fats right here. If we go to post-workout, there are no fats. The reason is fats are going to slow down digestion. So we want to stay away from fats post-workout because we are depleted and we want food and we want nutrients quickly into the system. All right, cool. So we're going to take away fats or have very little fats in our post-workout meal. The next thing you're going to notice is that we have the addition of starches. This is where we're going to have a majority of our carbohydrates. A good way to think about this framework for losing weight is earn your carbohydrates. So once you deplete and you've had your hard training sessions, you move and you consume your carbohydrates, all right? So your potatoes, your pasta, your rice, your bread, whatever it is that you enjoy, you can have. And you notice that it's not part of the main plate, it's a bowl on the side. That's a good way to regulate how much you're going to eat. Pick a bowl and regulate it by how much you eat. And if you're not losing weight, reduce the size of that bowl or fill less of that bowl, all right? Now the next thing is veggies. We want to eat half of our plate with veggies and fill half of our plate with veggies and half of our plate with protein in our post-workout meal. The reason we want to fill our plate with veggies post-training is because we are most depleted and we want a lot of vitamins, minerals, nutrients in our post-workout meal. So lots of fruits, lots of veggies post-workout accompanied by the starches. And protein, for obvious reasons, we need those building blocks to be able to repair and recover from the stress and the damage that we caused in the gym. Because essentially when we come to the gym, we're damaging and breaking the body down, and we need to give our body the raw materials to be able to build back up and become stronger and more resilient. So how much protein should you be eating in your post-workout meal? Now, what I personally do is I eat 2 pounds of protein in the morning, 2 pounds of protein in the afternoon, and then 3 pounds of protein in the evening, right? Just because I want to get more protein post-workout. But you don't even have to do this. All you got to do is 2 pounds in the morning, 2 pounds in the afternoon, 2 pounds in the evening, and keep it even so that you're able to keep it consistent and make it easier. Because the less decisions you have to make, the less decision fatigue you have, the easier it is to commit and keep this habit going long term. Because essentially what you want to do is you want to keep these practices ongoing for a long time, at least 2 to 3 months, to start seeing the results that a calorie deficit is going to bring you. All right. And the final thing that I want to talk about is water or tea. We're going to have a whole video on hydration, and so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but you really want to have water with every meal. You can drink it during, you can drink it after. If you're trying to lose weight, drinking during is ideal because it's going to make you feel a little fuller, it's going to make you eat a little less. But make sure that you eat your protein. The most important thing whenever you're trying to lose weight is, or any of the goals, lose weight, gain muscle, maintain, is protein. Protein amounts should never change. If anything, we need to have a little more protein than a little less. So you're better off eating more protein than less protein. All right. Just a quick recap on everything that I said. You want to have an abundance of veggies because there's a lot of volume with very little calories and makes you feel full. You want adequate protein, 2 palms circumference, thickness per meal for 3 meals. So you're trying to eat 6 palms per day. Sorry guys, had a little technical glitch over there, but I'm going to quickly recap the things that we talked about, right? Now, in your anytime meal, you want to eat this anytime it's not post-training, all right? So if you're not after training, what you want to be doing is not eating any starchy carbohydrates. Keep your intake to protein, veggies, and fats. And then anytime you're eating meals after training, you want to have this post-workout meal. All right. Now, these habits right here are going to be very important. What you're essentially trying to do is make sure that you're adhering to mainly the first section and the second section and the third section. If you can do these things really well, you're going to see an amazing result if you do this long enough. Now remember, we don't want to be at a calorie deficit and trying to lose weight for a long period of time. We go through a calorie deficit, then give our body a break, because trying to cut calories is tough on the body, and so we want to do a calorie deficit, commit to it, take a break, go to maintenance, and then come back to going into a calorie deficit when the time is right and when we are recovered from the diet. I hope that helps, guys. Hope this helps you figure it out. If you do have questions, you can always email us, whatup@CrossFit Salon or Andy@CrossFit Salon. You can message us on Instagram, message us on Facebook, call us, do what you got to do. And also please suggest the things that you want to learn about and the things that you want us to help you with, because essentially we could put all this content out and it's not going to help you because it's not the problems that you have. And essentially we're here to solve your issues when it comes to health and your fitness. And so let us know what you want to hear. You can put it, you can email us, you can message us, do what you got to do, let us know. I really hope this helps, guys, and we shall see you at the box.